Let's put it in motion. Girl, give me a promotion. Let's make it feel like a vacation. Turn a bed into an ocean. We don't need nobody. I just need your body. Nothing but sheets in between us. Ain't no getting up early. You know I'm always on the night.
Hello everyone, we still have 1 minute to go. Thank you for joining this Friday talk. I know it's a very long day, right? So we hope you can take the advantages just to relax and listen to our talk with our very awesome alum. Just hang out with us. Stay here. All right.
I ain't gotta go to work. Let your body do the work.
Hello.
We can work.
All right. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining LKYSPP Alumni Talk. So I especially feel very thankful because now you are joining this Instagram account. It is LKYSPP CAC. It's a very new account and it is also very new initiatives. So thanks also for the school, LKY School Alumni Office for supporting us, spreading this event is upcoming. And thank you for being here with us. Friday is a very long day, so I'm sure within like 30-40 minutes, you're gonna enjoy our talk, especially when you hear so many inspiring stories. Yes, so let's start. All right, so I'm greeting you all from Singapore. My name is Jenny. So I'm originally from Kazakhstan, recently graduated from LKY School of Public Policy. That's how we shortly name LKYSPP. And on behalf of the LKY School of Public Policy, Central Asia and the Caucasus Alumni Charter, I had the honor to serve as a vice president here this year. So one of the many initiatives we wanted to launch is to engage our alumni regionally in Central Asia, the Caucasus, and also like a global alumni network. Meanwhile, we also wanted to send this message to our general public, maybe the people, the young professional, who wanted to upskill themselves and come into Singapore to study at LKY School of Public Policy. So this is also for you. We also had other initiatives in our working plans, such as we wanted to organize some thematic-based some talk, so we can engage the charter to charter. So one of the very first, we want to engage the Central Asia Caucasus chart with the Singaporean chart, and the next with the United States chart. So it's gonna be a very awesome platform where you're gonna hear the stories of alumni, but also we're gonna actively to explore the regional partnership, collaboration, or simply to get to know like how other people are living in different places, right? So this event, now Alumni Talk, we had a great pleasure to invite our alumni who graduated from LKY School of Public Policy. They are from very different backgrounds. At present, they are in Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, in Central Asia, in the Caucasus regions. But they all share one the same passion, like they continue wanting to get engaged with this alumni community. Right, so here, stay with us. I would like you to spare like 30-40 minutes. First, let me invite our first alum speaker for this special event. His name is Yernar Zharkeshov from Kazakhstan. Yernar Zharkeshov, he graduated from our school MPP program, is Master of Public Policy program. He studied here in Singapore 2009 to 2011. So at present, Yernar, he works in Kazakhstan as a principal and the head of the Eurasia at White Shield Partners. This is a company, a global strategy and public policy advisory firm. Before joining this current company, he was worked as a managing partner and the CEO of Center for Strategic Initiative in Kazakhstan. This is a leading consulting firm in Kazakhstan, which also they call it like a McKinsey in Kazakhstan. So of course, he has still many more stories. So I can't wait to invite our Yernar. Yes. We are waiting for the Yernar's connection here. Connecting. Hello.
Hi, Jenny.
Hey, how are you? So
Very
you're
good.
at Kazakhstan, yeah? In Nur
Yes,
Sultan.
absolutely. Yes.
Right. Singapore time is 9 p.m. What's your time?
7 p.m. sharp here.
All right, but still it's a good time for people like at Friday having the happy hour with us together.
I hope so.
Thank you. Thank you for giving your time and also supporting our alumni talk. You are a very special guest for us because you were the president for our charter, alumni charter, right? So the previous one. How many years you serve this community?
It took me 2 years to establish and run it together with my great team.
Yes. So now I'm continuing your trajectory.
Absolutely. Together with Dinara. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And our president, Dinara, and we have our treasurer in Kar. So three of us, now we are in the committee members. So all the people, no matter you are alumni, you are students, or you are just a general public, please do follow our Instagram account, LKYSPP CAC. So you're going to join today's alumni talk. Meanwhile, we also have so many other interesting activities in our plan. Okay, so don't miss us. All right, Yernar, I'm not going to talk too much. I already talked too much. So I'm giving the floor to you. I give the brief background, like what you've been doing here. Could you please bring us to the beginning? So you studied in Singapore 2009, right? You came to Singapore to study at the school. But what were you doing before joining LKY SPP?
Thank you, Jenny. I saw the, I heard the introduction. Very kind words. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really excited because there's also a lot of pressure on me because I'm the first speaker of this series of alumni talks. And although I shouldn't have been the first one, the first one should have been Zhumart Abiesev, the very first alumni from Central Asia and the Caucasus, to have studied at the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy. But anyways, perhaps
he must be in our list. Thanks for recommendation. Because
yes,
it is a weekly event, so we're still going to invite many more alumni. Thanks
absolutely.
for that.
Yes. So I want to make sure that this short discussion is interesting and for the watchers, for the participants. Having really studied at the Lee Kuan Yew School, of course, I've gained a lot of experience and knowledge, but my path actually wasn't that easy. Before I was studying at the University of Birmingham in the UK under the president of Kazakhstan scholarship, Boloshab. But before, and then during my studies in the UK, I was actually having some internships in the Office of the President of Kazakhstan and Sovereign Wealth Fund, etc. And actually, it was Zhumart Abiesev at the Office of the President really introducing me to Professor Mukulasher of the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy when he was visiting Kazakhstan. And Zhumart was saying, look, you should really, after graduating from bachelor's degree, you should really apply for this program, MPP, and study in Singapore. I strongly recommend because Kazakhstan, as well as Central Asian countries, are aspiring to learn a lot from the module of Singapore public service, public administration reforms, and governance. So I was so excited, and that's how I was recommended by Zhumart. But then I passed all the exams, and I was lucky to have also got this scholarship, the Lee Kuan Yew graduate scholarship. It was very generous scholarship, by the way.
I heard it's very generous.
Yeah, it did.
More generous than we are receiving now.
I can imagine.
Anyway.
But what really unites us, the alumni, and it should really do so further, is the purpose to serve our communities without exaggeration, actually. Because, I know my graduates and, my classmates and you and others who are serving their communities and trying to contribute wherever they are with a noble purpose. So I think it's something that differentiates us from other schools, from other alumni networks. In terms of the what I actually did after, really at the Lee Kuan Yew School, I struggled a lot in terms of the comparison with other classmates. I was one of the youngest in the class. We had a class of 93 people.
If it is not a secret, how young were you that time?
I was 22.
Okay, quite
23.
young.
23 or something like that. But so it was challenging for me to catch up with my experienced colleagues, classmates, who actually had work experience, who some of them, at the manager level. And I struggled to actually follow these guys because they were talking about some complicated stuff. So I had to really quickly bring myself up to speed, really study a lot, catch up with, with my classmates, really spend time with them, because I drew a lot of, good lessons from their experiences. And the atmosphere was very good. There was a learning atmosphere. We, when we struggled in terms of the studies, we help each other at nights. We gathered like in big crowds, teaching each other, even think cell or macroeconomics, all those things that actually brought us together, and it broke the ice, and this bonding happened really. So 2 years was an exciting time, something that I would recommend for potential applicants to consider. The Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy is an amazing place. Singapore is an amazing place to be, especially at this moment. So for Central Asia and the Caucasus, it's important for Central Asian and Caucasus alumni network to be together. Alumni need to stick together, do joint projects in different countries, share their experience, and also contribute to their communities, but more importantly also to connect to other alumni chapters, whether it be in Europe, in the United States, in Southeast Asia, etc., so that we actually can do global projects. That's important because we are now global citizens.
Right. So it's very obvious you used to be our president, so you know how to talk, like in front of the alumni community. So you almost covered all what I wanted to ask, but let me just dig a little bit further in details. So if not, is it correct I understand? So in 2009, so you graduated from your bachelor's degree in the United Kingdom, and then you got the recommendation from our other alum. Then you came here, but before joining LKY school, you didn't have the work experience. Is that correct?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so you were one of the young. However, you mentioned like your cohort people that much more experienced. So could you please describe a little bit more, because especially for some people in Central Asia, they really wanted to get to know what this class atmosphere is, what kind of people studied with you together. So what kind of sector, and after graduation, do you still keep in touch with them, and how's their situation now? Talk about your peers.
Absolutely, good question. Thank you, Jenny. First, first of all, myself, actually, I was born and actually raised in a village in Kazakhstan.
Okay.
So I know
what is that called?
It's called Zhangarka. Zhangarka.
Zhangarka. Which region?
It's in the center of Kazakhstan, the Karaganda region.
Oh, Karaganda.
And
okay.
I know what struggles mean. So I'm used to struggle and grapple, I guess, with different challenges. But in Singapore, it was particularly challenging because I was young and I didn't have work experience. I was one of the actually very few, a couple of.
Yes, you're one of the very few.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I was one of the very few who actually didn't have any experience, work experience. So I was very fresh graduate, and I had to, really study more than the rest, and that put a lot of pressure on me. But people were very useful. We help each other, whether it be the Chinese students or Singapore students and others. So one of the biggest challenges was for me to catch up with my more experienced colleagues and really compete with them, because there is an element of competition different among the classmates, because in the end it's all about the bell curve. But what actually is particularly important at the graduate school is not something that what you study at the academic level, but actually what you take out of it as alumni, as a graduate, because the biggest value of a graduate school is the alumni network, is what you do after together. So that brings second question about how I keep in touch with them. I have a close friend from Rwanda, very far in Africa, is an amazing country. My friend Liban Mugabo, he actually visited me in Kazakhstan. I visited him in Washington D.C. He's now invited me to Rwanda to really do some business projects together. He wants to do some business projects here in Central Asia as well. So he has an amazing story of really, freeing the country from the genocide regime in 1994. If you know the history, there's an amazing story of reconciliation of this country, and he became advisor to the president Kagame, and he still is. And this Lee Kuan Yew community, brings people with amazing life experiences that actually you never thought of meeting if you are in other countries. So it's a melting pot of different cultures, different experiences. Of course, it's added by the guest speakers and amazing dignitaries visiting the school that makes this place particularly special and unforgettable.
Nice. Yeah, that actually we are now leading to this question. So you described like what you've been doing and your majority your alumni. So now we have our followers. Thank you so much from DG Beck. So said, I'm studying at master's degree in public policy. I'm interested in what job do you do after graduation? And what are the career opportunities, especially in Kazakhstan? I bet this person, DG Beck, you must also from Kazakhstan. Okay, let's say it like this way. So after now you graduated from the school, so what was the first thing you did and where you start? So how we can use our skill like a public policy students, we can leverage in our career development. Please start describing your career trajectory, and maybe you can also address Jibek's question. What are the career opportunities, especially in Kazakhstan?
Thank you, Jibek, for the question. First, when you graduate, of course, you would be inclined to rely on your network, network of alumni, but other friends because in Central Asia and Caucasus, we know, let's be frank, a lot depends on your network, on your connections.
I think a lot of places depend on your network.
Yes, but it's about professional connections, right? It's not about corruption or bribery. It's more about professional connection and people, how people know their competencies. So actually, it was Jomar inviting me, inviting me to join him and to join his team.
So is this a guy who invited you come to Lee Kuan Yew to study,
exactly.
and he invited you to join the team?
Exactly. So it was amazing. I never met him before, but I actually met him in the office of the president, and then he invited me. He recommended me to Lee Kuan Yew school, and I was excited and got accepted. And then after that, he actually employed me. So I'm grateful for Jomart because he made an amazing impact on my career. It's important to have these kind of mentors. So of course, my first experience in Kazakhstan was at the Minister of Economic Development and Trade, the Kazakhstan Public-Private Partnership Center. But actually, when you graduate with an MPP degree, you have a whole menu of different places to go. But it's important to reserve or to take care of this issue before you graduate. I'm not sure whether Jibek has graduated.
What do you mean? Like for how long people need to get ready before graduating?
If you have a 2 years degree of MPP, you better start 1 year before. So after you're done with your first year, you have to think about your internships. You have to think about your future employer and what the employer wants and what it is looking for. So you need to really sharpen your skills on that particular field. So you need to also have a number of options so that you don't scratch your head when you actually graduate and you don't know where to go. So it's important to take care of this in the long run with internships, paid, unpaid, doesn't matter. But it's about actually recommending yourself, especially if you're changing your previous employer if you hadn't work experience before. But also it's important to tap on your network across Central Asia and the Caucasus. We have people in our chapter from Armenia, from Azerbaijan, from Georgia, from Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, all Central Asian countries. So it's important to really reach out to them. We are open people. We can always support each other, and we do have to do some projects together, consultancy projects, and other business projects together. So because we are confident in the knowledge that the Lee Kuan Yew School gives to us, and it's about really preparing yourself for the future, especially against this backdrop of pandemic, where the labor market is extremely skewed and distorted, to be honest. So at this moment, you need to think about the skills that would be applicable no matter what, no matter pandemic and other challenges. Think about what skills that make you different, make you stand out of the crowd.
Right. And now you mentioned just because I think using your own personal story is even more convincing. So you just mentioned after graduation, you went to work in the Ministry of Economic Development in Kazakhstan. Then what happened? Tell us about that and how you ended up like today's position. Like you are like working as a manager partner, like a CEO, and you are like even helping your current company extend a new market. Could you just tell us about that journey?
Sure, quickly, basically, I don't want to bore you with details, but when I was working at the PPP Center in Kazakhstan, I was called by the chairman of the Civil Service Agency, Ali Khan Baymenov, by that time, and he called me. Look, I saw your CV. You're a Bolshoi graduate. You're a LKYSPP school graduate. What are you doing there? I need you here in the civil service. We are doing some great reforms. You need to
you're
join.
Like a hot potato. Like everyone was grabbing, right? Wanted you.
That's an overstatement, of course. But so I was actually flattered by this call, and he offered me to join the civil service. But I said, look, civil service is low paid, man. I can't do it. I wanna have decent salary. He said, well, I appreciate that. Then join the Academy of Public Administration. It's actually close to the agency. We rely a lot on the analysis and analytical work of the Academy of Public Administration under the president as the deputy director of the research center. So I said, okay, let me try. And that was my first experience of being a manager, managing a team of 14 people under my supervision. So we did a lot of research on civil service, and actually we introduced the Senior Executive Service Corps A, inspired by Singapore Administrative Service, and of course the UK's Senior Civil Service, etc. So I did actually apply the knowledge that I got from exactly the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy. It was amazing how that knowledge and skills were relevant in practice in Kazakhstan. And of course, after that, I joined the United Nations Development Program just to continue to upscale this knowledge transfer and analysis across Central Asia and the Caucasus and CIS countries.
You mean United Nations, UN, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you transfer now from the government sector to the international organization.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. Because I thought that maybe I can try myself at an international organization, and the UN was the best option. That's to really platform. Cover different countries, and that's how I, got to meet, policymakers from Kyrgyzstan, from Azerbaijan, from Armenia, from Georgia. I traveled to all these countries, and I saw that, I saw that a lot of challenges were very similar to, to each other. We, the policymakers in different countries of this region, face similar problems, and we need to have common solutions. So I feel to have been part of this effort to help civil service reforms across these regions, these countries. So it was an amazing experience. After that, I was invited to join a consultancy, a local management consulting firm, Center for Strategic Initiatives. Although, back to the question of Zhibek, I never thought of actually having graduated from with a public policy degree to actually work in the private sector, in business. I always saw myself in the government, but somehow I thought, when I was invited to management consulting as an executive director, and then I worked and became managing partner and CEO, I thought that apparently having public policy background, you can still shape public policies from the private sector. And the best way to do it through management consulting, whether it be Big Four, Big Three, Whiteshield Partners, or CSI. It's apparently an amazing also journey and experience to be in the public sector, in the private sector, and it's a challenge. For me, I thought that it was a challenge for me to see what's my worth in the market, in the private sector. In the government, you might get laid back and relaxed because you have a permanent contract, etc. In business, that's not like that. In business, if Screw up big time. That's it. If you don't, satisfy your KPIs, if you don't bring, cash, that's it. And that actually really combined my skills in the private sector, in international organizations, and the public sector to actually have all-round in competences that I enjoy now.
Yeah, so now I see from your personal story, like how public policy, the knowledge you learn and the skills is actually quite cross-disciplinary, right? So you can apply it to the government sector, international organization, and now you are in the private sectors. So as being a private sector, I know like going to the business school, like it's a very popular choice for majority young people. So could you please also tell what make you especially different from the other people who graduated maybe from the business school in this private sector? So what as a public policy graduate can bring in? What is the unique like values of this and in the private sector?
Interesting. That's an interesting question. Well, after CSI, I was invited to join White Shield Partners, which is a global, strategy and public policy advisory that actually is to answer your question. So the White Shield Partners is the head office is in London, and we have a major office in Dubai, and I'm partly based in Dubai and mostly in Nur Sultan and heading the Eurasia region. And what really is different about public policy degree and actually White Shield is this, as you said, the multidisciplinary approach to solving public policy issues, to solving societal issues. When you are MBA graduate, you are strong in actually in business, in bringing from loss to break even and profitability different companies, but also of course you are strong in different skills. But public policy degree makes you think differently. You have a noble mission of serving the society. You have it's your end aim is not to make money. It's about improving society without exaggeration. That's why the motto, of the school is actually transforming Asia. Improving lives. So I am personally passionate about improving lives, and I saw that I could actually contribute to that, be part of this, amazing reforms in different countries. So it's important to be part of the right team, right organization, so that you can apply the skills and your competitive advantage.
Okay, Yernar. So you just actually stopped, like you joined this private sector, which is like CIS, right? Like Center for
Strategic Initiatives, CSI.
Yes. So this is the Kazakhstani consultancy firm, and now you are actually working in the international company.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, like working in the international company now in Kazakhstan, and I know you are expanding to the new market. So could you please tell me a little bit about like how you are leveraging the public policy skill in the work you are doing now?
Sure. So of course, Kazakhstan scale is good to cover. It's a large country, so to work with different agencies, to different local authorities, central government agencies, is good. But it's also important to look at different countries in terms of the good practices. Also, you can also contribute to other countries as well. So I thought that I can, test myself at the global level with a global company. So I see that my skills and experience are relevant to the United Arab Emirates or to other countries, not only to Kazakhstan. So it's these internationally relevant skills are important to apply on time without limiting yourself to one particular country. We are actively hiring. I'm looking at Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy graduates, current students, and actually recent graduates in terms of the relevance of the skills who are ready to change their locations, whether to Dubai or Nur Sultan or other countries, other places like Paris or Toronto where we have offices, to see how we can support the growth of the team, growth of the company. There's this moment public policy education is ever more important because we need to understand the changing nature of the decision making. The government is always late to respond, so we are talking about the rapid response teams that actually are strengthened with public policy skills, modeling, econometric modeling, epidemiological modeling, and other, labor economics, put together to help governments transform the way they operate and help their communities. Because it's now time, the pandemic really revealed the problems of our public administration systems across Central Asia and the Caucasus. We need to talk about these problems in an open manner. We need to bring new blood, new talents into the government as well as into the private sector, whether it be consultancy or other sectors, to make sure that it works. So here at Whitechil, we welcome new graduates, the graduation series and
hold on there, because this is very important for a lot of graduates and the students. Especially we have some students now, they also give us a question. So let me remind again. So now also to our audience, now Yernar is working in a company called Whitechil Partners. So this is a global strategy and a public policy advisory. They are also now, you mentioned they have a different office in different part of the world. So as a executive manager, if you are hiring, what are the qualities you are looking for from students graduated from LKYSPP or from the public policy background? What
yes,
key,
thank you.
Let's say three qualities you're looking at.
First, quality, the analytical ability to really decompose any problem, apply consulting skills. It's important in what we see across Central Asia and Caucasus countries, candidates who are applying for a job at Whitechil is a lack of consulting skills. If you Google how to prepare to a consulting job interview, you have a lot of information. I don't know why people are not using it. You have, consulting frameworks, so how to construct a decision tree, how to be a consultant, how to understand a problem and actually decompose the problem to all different elements, how to do the, MISI framework of mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive framework to make sure that, you show your analytical ability. Second is, of course, is the communication skills. You should be a good presenter. You should be a convincing and solid presenter, experienced one. If you don't have experience, you should practice to make sure that you actually go straight to the point and make sure that you are in line with the client's expectations. So you have to be a strong presenter. Mm-hmm. And third, I think you should be very strong in public policy and economics, and you should have a specialization, whether it be environmental economics, labor economics, or quantitative modeling. You need to have a specialization and T-shaped expertise. And at
what is T-shaped expertise? I know this concept, but just for our audience, could you please describe?
It's a public policy program. You might be at risk of being general, all over the place, and study different things because they're so interesting, and you can spend time not being specialist in one field. So T-shaped meaning the T letter. You have an expertise across different fields, but you have one particular specialization in one very deep expertise. That's very important. That's T-shaped expertise. So it's important to ask yourself these probably sometimes uncomfortable questions, whether you have a specialization and to what extent you are a specialist in one particular field. And if you're not, don't worry, you still have time to specialize, but make sure that you do have a specialization, because it's important now, because for the employer, it's important to see where you're coming from.
Thank you, Yernar. I think today we majority of our talk, we covered a lot about the skills, the learning, and your career developments. Now, allow me, we have Jana given the question. She asked, by studying and living in Singapore, LKY school, what is the value you think is very helpful bring back to Kazakhstan? So the reason I'm asking, because now our audience, maybe majorities are still from Central Asia. We know about Singapore, but Singapore is always looked like a very kind of legendary, like so far, right, from our regions. So tell us a little bit your life experience, like life experience and the living experience at LKY and in Singapore. What make it different compared to the
Sure.
Central Asia, and what you brought that into Kazakhstan?
Absolutely. I think that's an important question because we need to draw lessons from Singapore. Sometimes Singapore, people claim, and a lot of decision makers say, oh, Singapore is so different from Kazakhstan or other countries. It cannot be compared, and lessons cannot be drawn from Singapore. I do not agree with that. Why? First, Singapore is a small state, a city state, but it gives a lot of lessons in terms of governance. First, my experience of working, actually, I was working also with in Singapore at Lee Kuan Yew School, and I was working also with the members of Parliament of Singapore to amend a law on maintenance of Parents Act. I mean, the relationship between parents and their children, the grown-up children. I saw a lot of problems in Singapore in terms of their monetizing relationships, and the values are being washed out. They're too capitalistic. And then the social values of taking care of your parents and providing for their livelihoods is an issue. And there's a law in Singapore, Maintenance of Parents Act, that actually allows parents to sue their children if they are not providing them with necessary support in during their pension time.
That's in Singapore.
In Singapore, and then I saw a lot of cracks in the system in Singapore because it's never ideal. But the question is how Singapore became such a thriving state from third world to first. The transformation is because of the quality of governance, quality of people in the government. And we talk a lot about high salaries of Singapore civil servants, but they never had it before they eliminated corruption in a really meaningful manner. And it is to do with the real and genuine political will in the country to curb corruption. So I work closely with the decision makers, and what really made my stay special is my interaction with decision makers, the ministers, the Prime Minister. I was talking to the Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Hsien Loong, and I actually asked him a question. Look, in front of
a lot of him in person.
In front of big crowd. Actually, I asked,
how come?
Lee Hsien Loong, we have Lee Kuan Yew, of course, in Singapore. But you are the son of Lee Kuan Yew, so are you also planning to become the minister mentor after your father?
And you answered this question to the son of Lee Kuan Yew. Okay, which is now the Prime Minister. Okay.
To the current Prime Minister, he was then Prime Minister as well. But after that, the newspaper people ran after me, interviewing me. I never knew that it was such a sensitive topic, because people were thinking, you can't. It's a taboo question. You can't, being Singaporean, you can't ask that question. Because
you
it's
can't.
Sensitive topic.
Okay, it is for Singaporean, you can't, but you are a Kazakh guy, you can.
Exactly. So apparently, and then I was on the front page of Straits Times, which is basically the #1 newspaper.
What a big news you have made.
Sorry?
What a big news you have made. I didn't know this part.
I never knew that it was such a big question. And then he actually answered that question, that it was a political statement, a new announcement from Prime Minister of Singapore that he will not become the minister mentor after he leaves the office. So, and there was a question that many Singaporeans were looking the answer for. So, but I was astonished by the openness of the civil servants and the Prime Minister of Singapore himself, and Lee Kuan Yew. I actually was fortunate to have met him as well when he was alive. He was actually giving lectures to us. So what really made my stay special is actually this interaction with the government agencies, government ministers, who actually contribute to the transformation of Singapore from third world to first. Amazing story, driven heavily by the public sector excellence, governance, strong government, compact government, and very competent civil servants. Something that could be applied in Kazakhstan. We're trying to do so, but we have a long way to go, to be honest, just like in other countries of Central Asia. So we need to draw a lot of lessons, how they did it, why they did it, and how they actually eliminated corruption, and how they made sure that there's a true, meaningful, development of the economy, of the private sector, of the, there are a lot of problems in Singapore as well, but that's a topic of a different discussion.
Okay, so I heard from your story you mentioned like very typical Asian environment. You described like while you're studying, it's a very competition there, very typical Asian. And you also mentioned like in terms of asking the question, so a brave Kazakh guy just no matter what, just gives a question to the son of Lee Kuan Yew and became on the front page of the Straits Times. That was you. And what are other like a culture shocks you experienced while staying in Singapore?
The cultural shocks, meaning the values were
Yeah, the values which is different from Central Asia.
everything is related to money. It's all about the Singapore society is about 5 C's.
What?
If you don't have those 5 C's, you are dismissed and you're not respected. One.
Okay, what is the 5C? Tell us about that.
Cash.
Okay.
Second is a condominium. Third is a club card, golf card. Golf, you should play golf, right? Fourth is car. And the fifth one is a credit card or something like that. So it's all about money. And one of the policymakers, the former policymakers, who was actually private sector too, Lee Kuan Yew, told me once. He's a professor, by the way, at the Lee Kuan Yew school still. He told me, Yernar, we are a developed nation, but we are too focused on making money. We are too, materialistic. We have become too materialistic. We forgot about our, social values, of some values that cannot be monetized, cannot be, really transferred to monetary. So we should think about taking care of our parents, our elderly. And if you go to Singapore in food courts, you see a lot of elderly in cleaning the tables, etc. There's a problem with the elderly people. They're too focused with talents, young talents, and they forgot about the elder. There is the demographic problem in Singapore, and something that the question that I asked to the Deputy Prime Minister Teo Chee Hean. That question that you have a lot of elderly people who are actually not housed and they're suffering. They don't have pensions. They're out of the formal economy, and they're struggling in food courts, taking cleaning. What is it? How Singapore forgot about them? So there's a lot of discussion. But anyways, Singapore is not ideal, but there are a lot of lessons to be drawn from Singapore to all Central Asian countries.
Okay, I would like to just before actually we are reaching the end, so please feel free to give your questions in the comment, or there's a question mark in the chat box. I'm checking. Вы можете на русском языке, на казахском, как удобно вам задавайте вопросы, мы постараемся задать уже, поговорим с Ернаром. All right, so feel free. The reason we choose to speak in English language because we thought we also have potential alumni from different charters. And maybe especially those students, like current students studying at the LKYSPP, they are very also interested in how graduated with a public policy, how they can develop their career. So that's the reason we use English, but you are more than welcome also to give the questions in Russian or in Kazakh language. All right. So Yernar, so I think we today covered pretty much. So starting from your study experience, then to your career development. And you also shared some kind of challenges and what the different values in Singapore and the Central Asia. And I think you yourself has demonstrated very successful this kind of transition, applying your learning into the practice. And your career trajectory also show the skill of public policy can be cross-disciplinary, can be used in the government, can be used in the international organizations, in the private business, and even the international business. So that's really very awesome to have you here and to starting as this alumni talk. So actually, I still want to, there's a hello from India, Yernar. So Aditi Rayu Praise.
Oh,
and we
Aditi.
also have you know her? Okay.
She's my classmate.
Oh, your classmate. Hello, Aditi. Thank you for joining us. So you
from Madras, probably.
Right. And there's also our commentary. He said from Karnazar. He said, thank you, LKYSPP CAC, for launching this live video with Mr. Zharkeshov as he's not active Instagram user, it's so great to watch and listen him. Greeting from Almaty.
Okay.
So there's a advice for you. So those people you wanted to know more about you, to see you more active in Instagram, maybe you'll consider. All right.
Okay.
People, please, you give your questions. I also have my last question, because you used to serve this alumni charter as a president. And now we have this new committee. We also wanted to engage alumni and do some initiative. What is your advice for us, like as the alumni community, how we can work better? So would you like to share your experience or your advice to us?
Sure. Well, I mean, when I came back from Singapore, I saw that there is no formal community or network, or there's no formal alumni chapter in Kazakhstan or in Kyrgyzstan or other countries. I thought that we should create one. So I reached out to Kishore Mahbubani. Look, we need to really have this chapter because we need to stick together. There's a lot to learn from each other, and we are not that many anyways. And on the other hand, also one of the purposes of the chapter is to make sure that we have a continuation of our presence in the Lee Kuan Yew School programs, whether it be MPA, NPM, NPA, NPP. We need to make sure that we recommend the best people we know from our network, from our countries, to study with those scholarships, without those scholarships, at the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy. But what's most important is to really do joint projects together. I don't believe in just talks and nice conversations, etc. Unless people
this is
do
what we are doing
together.
now, like a nice conversation, the talk. Okay.
Of course, no. We actually are working closely.
You frame it. So this is the beginning, but we need to do something more.
Exactly. But what is most important, the game changer, is when you do joint projects, joint business together. Without that, it's also useless, to be honest. Let's be frank. Important is for alumni to work together with each other, invite each other to join their teams, work together. I was working with Sardar, also a graduate of NPM, at to do some consulting projects here in Kazakhstan. So it really, this network of alumni really helped me, whether it be Jomar, Arda, Sardar, or whoever. And it really is amazing. So it's important to really do some joint projects together, have common interests, have have your skin in the project, as they say. So after you promote different alumni, this is the first one of the series of Alumni Talks. After you promote others, people will know more about different alumni. Every alumni of Lee Kuan Yew School in this region is an amazing person, is an amazing experienced leader, industry leader. So we need to know more about these people, what they are doing, how we can help each other, how we can connect the dots, and join efforts in serving our communities, doing some projects together, and succeeding together.
Thank you so much, Yernar. I think it is definitely, we take consideration, definitely you are still a member of our community alumni charter, very active, which we feel very proud of. So we'll continue learning experience from you. And thank you for establishing this kind of community from the very beginning. It gives us this kind of groundwork so we can build something even more. So just let our audience know, our new alumni charter, Central Asia and the Caucasus. This, what today you are attending, is one of the many our plans. So we have a weekly alumni talk. So like today we have Yernar, and every week we're gonna invite one alumni to talk about their study journey at LKYSPP, meanwhile as their career developments. And then we also wanted to, like quarterly, to organize some thematic event online. So now because of the COVID, we are doing online. We want to engage our Central Asia Caucasus charter with the other global charter as well. For example, we can connect with the Singapore charter, USA charter, Philippine charter, Indonesia charter. So by doing this talk, we hope like at least we get to know what is the situation in each region and to explore what are the opportunity for the partnerships. And this is again talk. As Yernar said, talk is only the beginning. We need to take the action to put it into this cooperation
and walk the walk.
Walk the walk. Okay. And I'm so proud of you. Like now you also while working in this international company, you are expanding the new region. So you are not only inside of the Kazakhstan, you are bringing your skill set and the experience beyond Kazakhstan, beyond Central Asia. That's very awesome of you. So I think today for the event, we had already about like 50 minutes. The most to the peak, we reach about like 20 people join this event. This event is recorded. So for those people who could not catch up this event to listen your talk, they can anyway, anytime can come to our Instagram page as long as you follow LKYSPP CAC. All right. So I'm seeing a lot of people just say yes, they like it, the talk. Thank you, the username ah.asim. So thank you, Yernar, for sharing, and congratulations, Dinara and Jenny, for starting this nice series. Thank you very much. Yeah, so we have very kind of good positive feedback now from our audience saying thanks. Even
Excellent.
our school, LKYSPP, Instagram, also they joined today's talk. All right, Yernar. So how's your feeling? I see your backside, it is your tennis player.
Yes, it's Novak Djokovic, #1 tennis player. We do play tennis, and he is an inspiration to many.
Right. So this is what your personal hobby, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So using this last moment, I will give you like maybe 2 minutes or whatever as an ending note. Could you please say anything to our public audience? So taking in mind this public audience, they might be potential students. They're also your alumni friends who just are from India to say hi, and for us as well. Yes, give it to you.
Absolutely, Jenny. Thank you. Well, it was a great experience. It's always not easy to be the first to actually start these kind of endeavors, and there's a new Instagram account, and we should promote it more actively. And it's in your good hands together with Dinara. A lot of great work you are doing, so thank you for your great effort. But it's just a beginning. I would like to make sure that we as alumni network are connected well, help each other, and promote this good mission of the school, because good governance really matters across the board. I would like to invite the future students of Lee Kuan Yew School to really enjoy their stay in Singapore, come back to their community. So we're also looking for new applicants from our graduates from Lee Kuan Yew School across the globe, and we have exciting projects to do together in different countries. And in these uneasy times of pandemic, I would like to wish everyone to stay safe and sound and be connected digitally, work together. I'm always open on Instagram and Facebook, so looking forward to our interactions, to join projects and new endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Yernar, so much for your time, for occupying your sharing such a very thoughtful experience. Thank you, everyone, for those people who left a comment. Thank you for your like and the support. So please continue following us. We're gonna have every week. So we have similar kind of alumni to share their experience. And stay with us. Stay in touch. Thank you. Bye-bye.